Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Twisted Grove, a place of nature and ruin. Today, we shall be creating a burial ground. This burial ground was once used as a place of remembrance for the brave warriors that fought over this land long ago. But now, it is a twisted ruin filled with death. So, I wanted to create a burial ground with interesting landmarks. That was not only representing the fact that it is a burial ground, but that it offers resemblance to the architectural design of the watchtower we created last episode. So what we will be adding to this burial ground is a burial tomb that you can see as a large stone entrance into the mountain, a small bell tower used to bring the sound of remembrance to the people of the land, and then I will also be constructing a moat and other graveyard features that will hopefully give some uniqueness to the graveyard that you may or may not have seen before. This will also be going with the ruined theme that we have been trying to go for with these builds on this series. Now, as you can see here, I am creating the moat for this graveyard. I've already completed construction of the stone doorway, and the inside of that will be done at the end of this episode. Now I am placing in the water and getting the walls on the graveyard side correctly numbered so I can make some interesting statues and interesting patterns later on. As you can see, I'm creating some small water fountains to add some detail to the walls. Now, I actually removed these fountains from the ground's inner walls and put one on either side of the bridges. I do this because I have a different idea for making a nice pattern later on the walls inside. As you can see here, I am creating said pattern. You can see on the bridges that I have used the fountains, like I said. I intend to place torches on top of those cobblestone peaked walls. Very few, however, because this is a ruin after all. I will be showing off lighting in the future, but the lighting in the actual design will be taken out because it is a ruin. Here, I am creating the bell tower. It's a very thin looking design at first, and then gets drastically bigger. Sort of similar to a standard tower. Originally, it was actually not going to be a bell tower. It was going to be a small well of sorts, but then I changed my mind when looking at the design. Here, I'll now be placing graveyards and random tombs. All of these graves are completely crafted and not copied or pasted in, so they're all unique to each other. As you can see here, I place very large torches around the outside of the graveyard, and I believe I do use these on the inside, but they will not be here forever. They will be extinguished in the ruined version. Right here, I start placing the environmental aspects to this graveyard, this grave burial ground. I add 2 very large trees, and then about 6 or 7 small trees. The large trees are used to actually create large vines that wrap their way around this burial ground. Sort of the same effect that we used with the leaves wrapping around the tower in the last episode. What I do here is I replace most of the blocks here with numerous amounts of mossy stone, mossy cobblestone, and other types of blocks that represent a ruined effect. Actually, right here, I am wrapping the vines around the burial tomb now from the larger trees. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there you have the outside of this burial ground. It's very cool looking, I like it. I think might add a few more ruined, maybe some potholes and stuff like that, random craters in the ground. But now we're going into the inner burial tomb, where we will largen it, change the grounds, walls, and the ceiling to the appropriate block types. And then calculating so we can make some neat patterns without there being any awkward crossovers. Right here we create the inner entrance, which will look slightly different to the outer entrance as it is slightly smaller and a little bit more curved. Right here I make an inner pattern just to add a little bit more architecture to the walls and the room in itself. Later on, I do add something to the ceiling. Very little, actually, to the ceiling is done. It is mostly stone brick. But I do muck around with the ceiling and the pattern a little bit, just to add a little bit more detail. As you can see here, I've put the patterns all over the walls. And now we'll be working on the inside completely. I wanted some elevation, as there usually is in tombs. So I add that. I wanted some small moats, just to add a nice watery effect that we have usually been going on with this build here. I calculate something wrong in the back there, and just do some recalculations, just to get the numbers exactly right from both stairways. I follow the same wall pattern design as the one outside by the moat, only I place torches on top of the cobblestone pylons. I then copy and paste the large torch designs from the outside grounds and put two of them either side of one another inside the tomb. Here I make random arbitrary patterns on the walls, which will also be burial tombs. I do the same with the staircases too. This is a mirrored tomb, which means it's going to be exactly the same on the other side. Now I make my way to the second layer of this tomb and work my way around that, doing the floor first, adding a neat pattern to it, and then adding some more to the walls. Here I create one of the first large burial tombs, of which there will be, I believe, 5 of them. Nah, sorry, 4 of them. 4 of these large ones, and then a very large one in the center, followed by 2 small ones, and then a large crate or chest in the center by the big torches. Here I create the large pylons, keeping the building up. And then I follow the small roof design just to give it a little bit more detail, like I mentioned before. Now, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the final result, a lit or unlit burial ground, including a burial tomb, bell tower, and moat, followed by bridges and walls on the outside. I very much like this burial ground. I think it's very ruined, very cool. Hope you guys enjoy it too. If you have any suggestions, point them out in the comments below. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time, some more Twisted Grove. Bye-bye.